What's up guys, Sean here. Happy Friday. And for today's carry, the theme I went with is Flipper Friday. So I'm rocking two different zero tolerance behemoth flipper knives. Well, one is a behemoth and the other is simply a full-size knife. So I have the ZT0308. This is a big boy. And I have the ZT0562 Ti. Two really amazing knives. I've owned a couple other zero tolerance knives, and these are the only two that I still currently own and will never sell. The 0308 I put up for sale a couple different times, but ended up deciding to take it down, and that I couldn't get rid of it because well, there's a lot of couple things about it that make it very nice and kind of unique. One thing that I really love about this is the tiger stripe blade, but that isn't exclusive only to this knife model or brand, but it's not something that's super common. Both of these are outfitted with my edges. I believe both of these are TSPROF edges. Both are probably around 17 degrees per side. Typically I go a little bit lower than that, but these are a little bit thicker behind the edge, probably somewhere around 20 to 25 thousandths if I had to guess just off the top of my head. So not super thick, but not thin. You know, might even be thicker than that. Thick enough that I don't want to go down too low, or else the edge bevel will be halfway up the blade. So yeah, they perform well at the angles that they currently are at. They cut very well. Really happy with the way this one cuts. This one I honestly haven't had quite as much use on. I don't carry this a whole lot, but I love flicking this thing. It has really good lock bar access. Oh, just got me. Really easy to unlock. You gotta be careful or else you will get your thumb like that, especially if the blade is sharp. But very easy tension to slide that over, and it's not a far distance either. Also, there's no sharp edges. So it's nice. It's a nice soft kind of feel that you're pushing up against, yet you don't need those sharp edges and a lot of grip because it doesn't take a lot of force to push that over. And when you drop this down, you want to let this flipper tab hit your thumb. However, that flipper tab is very small, so it's very easy for that to slide past. And if you do that, this thing will get you, because this thing is completely free dropping. Not like a complete guillotine to where it falls, you know, at free fall speed. It's a nice controlled, super smooth, almost hydraulic drop that you would see on say like an XM18 with skiff bearings, something along those lines. Very satisfying. Very high end feeling. Excellent detent, just the right strength. Excellent flipper tab. It's very small, yet you have perfect amount of grip, perfect amount of leverage, and it's not sharp. It has some nice, not too aggressive jimping, and it's at just the right spot, just the right size to where you can effortlessly deploy this. Super snappy action, super fast action for such a big blade, which is really cool because that's not something that's super common. Usually with a larger knife, even if you have a good detent, it's not going to fly open or drop shut like that. It'll probably be dropping shut faster than that, and it will be flying open a little bit slower than that. So you get the best of both worlds with this one. Really like this for more of like a fidget knife. I know that sounds pretty lame, and this channel doesn't focus too much on fidget factor, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you guys that I do like to flick my knives. I'm sure it's no secret because you guys watch my videos and notice me flicking my knives compulsively all the time without even realizing it. So really like this, really unique design. I have some Blades We Love blue anodized screws on here. You can get those off of his eBay store. They are very affordable. He ships pretty quick. Cool guy. He's been in the community for a long time. So I do have respect for him. However, you know, no hate on him or his products or anything, just being honest. His anodizing and the finish of the screws and everything, it's, from my experience, the ones that I've tried out a couple different sets, it is like, all right, so there's nothing wrong with them. They function absolutely perfect. They don't strip out easy or anything. It's quality screws, but they aren't like polished up, or they're not, I don't think he like prepares them really well before he does the anodizing, because his anodizing always looks a little bit dull and it's not super vibrant. However, I mean, it still looks better than the factory screws, and he has availability for an insane amount of different knife models, and he does screws for a ton of makes as well. So any SPYDERCO knife, any zero tolerance knife, any BENCHMADE knife, any of the big USA popular major knife manufacturers, he has a screw kit for just about any model that they have ever made. So that's really cool. He also makes some clips and stuff, but you know, that I'm not a huge fan of those either. But I mean, it's worth checking out if you want to get some you know, dress up your knife without spending a ton of money. So CT308 right there. And then this one I actually do carry a lot. This is about as perfect as a knife can get from the factory. This is probably one of the only knives that I have in my entire collection that I have never installed any aftermarket parts or accessories on. Never changed out the screws, never changed out the pocket clip, never changed out the bearings. This one actually could probably benefit from some skiff bearings. This one, the 308, that is absolutely perfect action, bone stock. This one, a little bit less drop shut, but the action is, as far as deployment, is beautiful. Perfect detent, perfect flipper tab, great leverage, nice soft edges. Everything on this knife is rounded and softened, so there's no hot spots whatsoever. Comes from the factory with the deep carry clip, which is very well done. Doesn't you know, not easy to flex around and stuff. I mean, I can if I really try, but it's nice and sturdy, good retention. It goes in and out of pocket easy when you want it to, doesn't fall out when you don't want it to. So I mean, that's pretty much all you can ask for in a clip, besides aesthetics. And it doesn't look bad either. So I mean, looks fine. I like how they just did the one screw. Detent on this is beautiful. Love it, love it, love it. This one has a little bit of a bigger flipper tab, so you have a lot less chance of this blade coming down on you, as long as you let that flipper tab hit your thumb. If you try to move your thumb out of the way of the flipper tab in order to get past that second detent, then you start getting into risky territory, because the second detent is right there. So it's not an early second detent. or I don't know if you call a second detent. You guys know what I mean. The detent that you need to get past for it to drop shut is right there. So that's very late compared to a lot of knives, but it does act as kind of a safety feature. So if you kind of slide your thumb down a little bit, not far enough to where the flipper tab won't hit your thumb, but you know, just enough to where you can feel it go past that detent. And then I grab it up here at the pivot and just a gentle shake, and that's all it needs. This one also has a really, really amazing sound, great acoustics, good lock bar access. Takes a little bit more to disengage this lock bar than it does on the 308. So it has a little bit more tension, but still not, you know, it's not tough to do. It's not going to tear up your thumb. Both of these are knives that you can flick for hours without your fingers ever getting raw, because everything is just done in a way that it doesn't tear up your skin. So that's really nice. I do like that. And it's nice when you see a company design something to where it functions 100% just like as if it did have the sharp edges or whatever to grip your skin, but it doesn't need those sharp edges because of how they designed it. That is always a nice thing. So I did a video way back of my favorite my top 5 favorite sounding knives as far as the acoustics go, and this was on that list, and this is still probably #1 of all time. I mean, the opening sound and the closing sound are both really good. And it's a nice performing knife, cuts well. This is the Rick Hinder design slicer grind. You can get this same exact blade grind on an XM18. However, on the XM18, it's a little bit thicker geometry than you get on the 0562 Ti. So this is basically like a full titanium Hinder with softer edges and better cutting geometry. And it's a fraction of the price. So if Hinder designs have intrigued you, and you just, you know, can't see yourself spending over $400 on a knife, highly recommend checking out one of these. And before you go and buy one at a dealer, I would check the secondary market, like the buy sell trade post on the SPYDERCO Millie PM2 P3 Club. That's my favorite Facebook group where I go and buy and sell and trade knives. There's a couple other ones, but that's the top one that I would recommend. Go over there. Usually you can find a deal on one of these like $100 less than retail for a like new inbox, ready to go. So yeah, you can get these for a good price, and it's a really amazing knife. So anyways, I figured I would bust out the zero tolerance knives today, because, well, I really rarely carry this one because it's so huge. And the 0562 Ti, I haven't carried that a whole lot lately, just because I have so many SPYDERCOs that I love a little bit more. And that's not just because of the knife designs, it's also because of the blade steels that they're offered in. They're extremely good heat treats. For example, 15V, K390. Oh my God. If you haven't experienced those, you have not lived yet. You cannot call yourself a knife, well, you can be a knife enthusiast, but you definitely can't call yourself a knife steel nerd or a sharpening enthusiast or a knife steel enthusiast if you haven't experienced either of those. Those two, as far as I'm concerned, are like the holy grail of blade steels that you can get readily. Well, 15B is a little bit harder to get, and I'm speaking about the SPYDERCO 15B because they use triple B handmade's heat treat protocol. That stuff is exceptional, but you can get readily available SPYDERCO knives in K390 blade steel, and you can also get them for a affordable price because they make several lightweight backlock models that are made in Seiki City, Japan, which are like pretty much all, well, there's maybe 2 of them that sometimes go above 150, but you can get probably around $100. You can get a Delica or a ENDELA in K390. For under $100, you can get a Man Bug or a Ladybug. Trying to think if I'm missing any other models. I believe that's the only 2 that they do K390 in. That is smaller than the Delica. The Man Bug and Ladybug are like keychain knives. Oh, Dragonfly. That's in between the Man Bug and the Delica. That's like a 2-finger knife. You can get those under 100. Once you get up larger than the Delica, which a Delica puts you, it's kind of like para 3 territory as far as size goes. Once you go above that, it starts going above 100. But this past Christmas, I got the K390 Endura 4 lightweight in K390 with the Warncliffe blade for 120 or 130. I think normally they're maybe 140, 145. That's like 4 inches of cutting edge of K390, and a very easy to carry, very ergonomic, great grip, great carry, great blade geometry, total package as a cutting tool. It's not fancy, it's not necessarily pretty, but by God does it work exceptionally well. So check those out. And yeah, I'm on my way to work, so I'll let y'all go. Hope everybody has a great day. I love you guys. Jesus loves you. Stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.